time for everything under the sun, a time to be born, a time to go to school, a time when you need to graduate, a time when you need to look for that dream job of yours. This is a time where you need to think of being a CEO or a founder. Guess what, guys? We're in Brooklyn. Of course, you must know that Brooklyn has produced legend, but this one didn't just pop bottles alone. She built our own. Today on Cruising with the CEO, we are definitely riding with Marvina Robinson. I can say that again. Marvina Robinson, a visionary who turned a dream from the streets of Bedstock into one of the first black-owned champagne brands in the world. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
From Wall Street to wine cellars, guys. Our journey proves that luxury isn't just inherited, it's created, one bold decision at a time. So guys, do me a favor, buckle up, because this drive isn't about bubbles and bottles. It's about belief, branding, and of course, breaking ceilings. Let's cruise, guys.
We're
I've got
cruising.
Marvina Robinson. Hi, boss. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm excited. First, let me quickly say you welcome back from France. How was your trip?
My trip was amazing, enlightening, busy.
Oh my God!
But it's always good. It's always good.
I can't tell.
I don't know if I have bags underneath my eyes, but I think I kind of masked them
No,
up.
I think you look good. I think you look good.
Thank you very much.
Are you traveling again so soon?
Yeah, I am leaving in 2 days to get back on the road.
Don't tell me.
Yeah,
Wow.
So I'm here for a little bit. Really, a little bit.
I guess she actually came because of this show, right?
Right. And it's my mom's birthday today.
Oh my God.
So,
all right, Mom. So if you're watching, I'm sure you're going to be watching very soon. Happy birthday to you on behalf of the Job Show International and, of course, all the MD CEOs. Which way are we going?
We're going to make a left.
Okay. All the MD CEOs and founders, we say happy birthday to you, Mama. God bless your new age. Now, okay, guys, we're in Brooklyn, and definitely we're just driving out of Brooklyn Navy Yard. Let's find out from the boss herself. What's the story? Tell us about it. I read a lot about you. You know,
What did you read?
Come on, I heard that you spent probably 2 decades in Wall Street before you finally came to do your own stuff. So it's kind of a challenge. It's kind of an upbeat for young entrepreneurs. They are scared of taking the next challenge,
right,
or getting into the workforce. Tell us about it. What's your story? I want to hear it.
Well, my story is, I also was scared too. I just decided to take a leap of faith. I wanted to be an entrepreneur and branch out before I actually physically did it, but I was tied to the benefits of having a full-time career with a nice salary. It's what I invested in myself as far as schoolings, education. I went to Norfolk State for undergrad. I studied biology. I went to Columbia University for grad with my master's in statistics with a concentration in finance. So I felt like I kind of, put myself in a place to succeed in finance, and then to up and realize to start over, especially as an entrepreneur, that's a hard decision to make, because you're going from the land of known, as far as when you're getting paid, you have PTO, you have sick days, you have 401k, to really coming to the world of the unknown, where you have to work hard, build a business to get this revenue in, to really support yourself and staff that you have along with you. So it's very hard, but if you believe in yourself, we're gonna make a left. If you believe in yourself, it can happen. Do I believe in myself? Absolutely.
Of course.
100%.
You're still running.
Do I have a lot of phobias to this day? Absolutely. I fear phobia. My phobia is failing. This is a consumer business where consumers really decide how you go, because I can't make any revenue if consumers don't buy my product, right?
Sure.
So you have to figure out all the different avenues that actually get you out there. Right? And you have to be creative. You just can't go to a book and then say, okay, I did this, I did this. You have to read the economy, you have to read the market, you have to read your clients, what they want and what they don't want. And you always have to continue to change things up, because that's the most important thing. See what works and what doesn't work. And it's just not instantaneously. It's more about taking your time to make the changes.
I kind of like what you said about how you got your degree and your second degree. You know, most entrepreneurs of this generation will probably say education is a scam. What do you think it is?
You know, I had this conversation with somebody so many times, and I don't believe education is a scam, right? I believe that education has evolved where it might not be the backbone of everything you need, but I believe education shows that you invest in yourself. When you're in school, it's just not your faculty teaching. You're also learning from your peers, right? And you're also building your connections and your network. I know when I was in undergrad, some of the greatest people I see out here, they're doing amazing things, and I look back and I say, oh, we went to school together. You know, we have a bond, we know each other, we can talk about business, right? We can get, you know, if I have to vent to somebody, I feel comfortable going to some of my alumni because, one, I know them personally. It's not somebody I met randomly. And as I'm growing my business, there are some of my alumni who's grew their business before me. They have more experience, so I feel comfortable talking to them because they have the experience that I need. And these are people that I met and getting my education. So I think it's more about you have to perceive what you're actually going to get. And it's definitely not a scam. It's definitely, I always believe in education. And one thing I had said to myself, sorry to cut you off,
No.
was if I failed in this business, I always know I have a solid education to fall back on. But I'm not failing, but I still have a solid education to fall back on.
Sincerely, I really don't know the definition of failure, though.
I know the definition of pivoting, right? Never fail,
exactly.
just pivot.
For a successful entrepreneur that has just came back from France, keep selling champagne, sincerely, you definitely cannot fail. I don't see that in you at all.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, and so guys, you heard it all. Let's talk about, I've heard CEOs give us a definition of success. You know, some would tell us that success is the happiness to go to bed at night and of course wake up in the morning and see family and friends. And some will tell you that my bank account is my success. You know, I've also had CEOs that told me that, you know what, every time I get to see credit, you know, drops in my account, that's what I determine as, I do see that success. So for you as the first black champagne CEOs, tell us about it. What exactly is success to you?
You know, that is a very, very hard question. People have different variations of success. I don't believe success is my bank account. I believe it's nice to have, but I believe success, from my perspective, and where I stand at right now, is having a business, building a business from scratch without any investors, without any loans, and really starting a business from the ground up and putting all the infrastructure I put in from when I officially launched in February of 2020, though I started before then, to where I'm at now, right? Do I feel like I have a success? Yes. Do I feel like I have a long way to go? Absolutely. When I get asked questions, and sometimes when we are our toughest critic, I don't think I've done a lot, right? But when you look out, when I see people toasting and cheersing with my product, I'm like, I created that product, right? I put structure to this business. I built it where, you know, we have people that come into our tasting room from all over the world. We have people that are coming from Japan, people that's coming from different countries, and it's a delight, you know. And I ask people, how did you hear about Stuyvesant? Oh, I read about you. Oh, I saw you on this TV show, so we came to New York, so we wanted to visit you. So those are all things that I like. So those are hints of success to me, right? I think success comes in different stages. So I think that's one success. Now comes to the next level of beginning to scale and grow the business. I think that'll be another level of success. Where I've grown the business, I haven't fully scaled yet, but I'm on the horizon of scaling. So I'll hit second stage success shortly.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, tell me.
You know, you kind of struck me though. I've sat down in this same vehicle or the other vehicle, you know, talk about how to generate revenue for business, and you kind of the first CEO, you know, that I'm sitting with. You actually emphasize that you never got a loan, no partner, no investor, that you did this all alone. That's a lot. That's
It's
a lot.
a lot.
That's scary. Can you break it down? How did you do that? And why I'm saying that is because there are thousands, tens and thousands of aspiring entrepreneurs that are struggling with that part. You said it's so seamless.
It's far from seamless, and it's a struggle every day.
Tell us, how
right?
did you do that?
I mean, when I was working,
in New York.
Yeah, in New
Wow.
York. I worked. I had a successful career, and I actually shifted gears to do what I wanted to do. I was unhappy in my industry, not for the company or any of the people, but it was just me internally that wanted a change. And I was traveling back and forth to France on the weekends to study champagne on my own. I believe in if you like something, you have to immerse yourself in the culture. We can read as many books as we want to read. We can go as many classes. We can do as much, Googling. But it's nothing like immersing yourself in the culture. And that's basically what I was doing on a part-time basis. And that love part-time, I really wanted it to be full-time. And when I launched, here's a fun fact. When I launched the business, I didn't want a product to be in retail as it is now. I was really just going to open up a really small, quaint, beautiful champagne bar, no more than 25 seating. And I wanted to introduce consumers to these different champagnes that I was researching and finding over in France that doesn't make it over here to the States, because I believe that some of these small houses, they make beautiful wines and we don't get a chance to explore them. And B. Stuyvesant was really only going to be the house brand of the small champagne bar. So my focus, and what I still do, is to highlight all these amazing growers brands, because I think, the champagne industry is really in depth and large, and we don't get to see the growers brands, which I think is very important.
That's very deep. Guys, just to let you know that we'll definitely be we will pour champagne today, so watch out.
Yay.
Yeah, watch out. I'm looking forward to it. I want to have a taste of that. Let's go back to struggle. Behind every success, there's always a struggle, which we've just acknowledged, and I want us to dig into that more. Can you take us back anytime, where you decided that, maybe this is not for me? Was there a time where you decided that, wow, this is very hard should I just pull out?
Many times. And sometimes I have those same thoughts today. So, as an entrepreneur, your emotions are a roller coaster.
You know why I'm saying that? Because I see these people a lot. As a matter of fact, I got probably like 4 text messages before I got to you this morning about young entrepreneurs trying to get counsel from me. And one of the ladies said that maybe I should probably just get a job and just let this go. So there are tens and thousands of such mindset out there. Tell us, and I really want you to tell us in practical terms. Can you share?
I mean, there's always a phobia, right? When you get these large invoices that are like $50, $60, $80, $100,000, you're like, oh my gosh, like my name is on this. When consumers aren't purchasing, right? You have inventory that's just sitting there. You have to get creative when you have to change distributors, when you have to change the office. I've moved my offices 3 times. This is my 3rd time in my office, which I love this space that we have now. We didn't get it right the first 2 times. It's also about like staffing. Staffing's a lot, and it's very important for a business to grow to have the right staff in your business. And unfortunately, sometimes I had great staff, sometimes I didn't have such great staff. Like, I think I'm a great boss, but there's times where my game is off. I'm not always great. Nobody's always great. So sometimes I'm not always great. And that's okay, And also, as employees, everybody has bad days and good days. My whole thing is just, let's get everything done in a professional environment. There's days like I feel like I'm failing or I want to quit, in today's economy, 2025, these tariffs are like slowly like giving me left hook, right hooks. They're just coming in one after the other. And it's really hard as a small business, to handle these tariffs because these were not in the budget and they just came out of nowhere. Well, they didn't come out of nowhere, but we know whomever put them in place that were not in place last year. So you have to change your dynamics, and you have an economy where consumers aren't spending, and that's like a problem for me because as a consumer-based product. But this is also a time where you can get creative and find ways to, work with consumers to lure them in, create experiences, which is what we use in our tasting room, and just, find a ways to really connect with the consumers.
So, how do you beat such mindset in situation whereby you want to give up? What are the buckets you have to probably put together just to beat such mindset of not giving up? Do you have blueprint of that?
I've never been a person that gave up. I've never been a person that's really easily given up. I am a person that will pivot. I will do 20 pivots if I have to. And I'm a solution-based individual where if I have a problem, I find a solution to it. So I think that's very important to always have that in your mind or your personality, especially as an entrepreneur. You need that skill set. That's like non-negotiable.
Not giving up, right?
Right, not giving up. And even in the event you want to give up, you think about it, you have to realize how much work you've put in to get this far than to sit there and see, if I do give up, will I be unhappy afterwards? And that's what will happen. You'll be unhappy afterwards, and then the process, the cycle will start again.
My God, that's deep. Can you take that again?
Can I what?
Can you say that again? That's
no,
very deep.
I just be speaking off the top of my head. I'm dropping gems. You gotta pay attention. I'm dropping gems.
I'm trying. That's really, really deep.
I'm dropping gems.
When you give up, then you probably get to regret that. Why did I do that?
Most likely, yeah. It's just like, for example, this is probably a bad analogy. Like when you go shopping, you see something you want, and you get home, you realize, I should have got it.
Yeah.
And then you go back the next day to get it, and it's gone. So, I'm not saying to go back and get everything you see when you're shopping, but sometimes you have regrets.
But just if you have the money, though. So where are we?
We're actually in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Right now, we're going to make a right on Marcus Garvey, which is this street here.
All right, so when your master class right now, I have an inspiration to start an SME, small medium business, and I'm struggling with the idea. How do I conceive? What do I need to start? Firstly, what do I consider? If I have an idea, how do I bring this idea to life? Are there people I can partner with? Are there people I can, source funding from? As I've said, that this is the first time I'm hearing that a CEO started a business without the investment of family and friends and getting a loan. That's massive. That's this way?
Yes, right.
So are there
I would say always have
things you need to know?
I think you need to know what you want to start first and have a proof of concept, like understanding what you want to build, what, where, when, how, and why. Those are the common things you should be able to answer about your business. And then you have to put structure to your business. What's the legal structure you want to have? That's always something good to have. Not something good to have, something you must have, right? You want to separate yourself from your business, in my opinion. And then you need to see, like, how am I going to operate? Do I need a brick and mortar? Can I start this business from online? Do I need to be visible as far as, like, have a base for consumers to come see me? Can I work in a shared space? Can I operate like that? Then you have to figure out how are you going to get your product out there. Like, other than yourself, how does your business grow, right? I always think you got to have a website. I think website is essential. Start to work on that. Work on what do you need to succeed in the business. And that's your vision. You write down everything you think you need to succeed in the business. And then also look, are there other businesses that's like yours? And from there, see what they're doing, because you want to get like some form of blueprint, and then you can see how your business stands out. Because you don't never want to be exactly like somebody else, right? You want to make sure you stand out from this other businesses that's very similar like yours, and those are my key concepts initially. I would start with, but for me, when I started my business, I didn't have I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have a blueprint. I was just operating out of love and drive. So I knew what my end product was, And because I launched my business during COVID, because of such strict guidelines of what we could do and couldn't do, I had to keep pivoting, figuring out what I can do and how long did this work. Okay, cool, we did this. Now I got to do something else. Right? When we first launched, when I first launched, I only had 2 cuvées. I had Grand Reserve and I had Rosé. But being that this is now the business, I decided, okay, if I want to be a true champagne house, I don't want to just have 1 or 2 cuvées. I need to be able to have a portfolio because everybody has different palates, right? You might not like this, you might not like that. You might want a Blanc de Blanc, you might want something light, you might want a Pinot Noir. So all these different things, cuvées, tasting profiles. I wanted to have a variety of tasting profiles, and that's what I've actually done. There are some cuvées in our portfolio that does not stay in the portfolio full year round. It's limited editions. They come in and come out the book, and those are things that I create because, I want to have a plethora, not more than like 12, 13 cuvées, but I just want to be able to make sure that I can reach a lot of different people's palates, consumers' palates, excuse me.
Being the first black lady, in the champagne business in the U.S., so tell us, how has it been, in that space, as the first black lady to venture into such sector? Tell us about the good, the bad, and the ugly of that.
Well, I don't really define myself as like the first black woman in the industry or in the wine champagne.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people are doing or have done before me. I operate as Marvina, where I'm a person, an individual that loves the wine industry, specifically champagne, and that's where I grow my business. I don't attach any labels because obviously my genetics, they're here, right? They're not going anywhere. I want the product to speak for itself as far as like the tasting profiles and having a great product to put out there. And then my genetics are automatically goes hand in hand. Being a woman in this industry, being a woman of color in this industry is very hard because it's not a very diverse industry. Just like I worked in finance and Wall Street, that wasn't a diverse industry. This isn't either. So you just have to be able to, we're gonna make it right. You just have to be able to, stand strong. And for me, my personality, I have a dominant personality, but it's also not being loud. Like people are loud and wrong at the same time. Sometimes you have to know when to just observe. And that's really important part. It's really observing what's going on in front of you, behind you, and the sides, so that you know how to make decisions for your business. Because, you are a minority. Well, I am a minority in this business. Not just being a black woman, but also being a woman in this industry. So wait, let me give you a fun fact. Let's pull all the way up. Look. Yep. So the brand is called B. Stuyvesant. Do you know why?
Why, please?
1, Stuyvesant Avenue. I grew up on Stuyvesant Avenue. And we're in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So it's named after the neighborhood I was born and raised in, Bedford-Stuyvesant. So I grew up on Hancock and Stuyvesant, which we're coming up shortly. But that's really how the brand came to be, the brand name.
What does B stand for?
Bedford-Stuyvesant. I'm coming from the place of do or
I
die.
grew up here.
Yeah, we're going to ride past the block.
I'm sure the neighbor will be proud of you.
No.
Of course. They'll be proud of you. So tell us, what's it like growing up here?
Oh, I loved growing up I had a great childhood, broke a couple of rules along the way, missed curfew a couple of times, running up these blocks. I had to be home by the street time. The street lights were coming on. Missed that a whole lot. I went to Boys and Girls High School, which is literally right up on Fulton and Stuyvesant, late almost every day because I lived so close. But again, I had such great friends in in high school, where some of us are still really great friends today. So I think it was definitely a great upbringing that I had, and I loved growing up in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
It took me 2 hours, 14 minutes to get to Brooklyn this morning.
We left in the midst of rush hour traffic.
Yeah. And I was talking to one of the startups, and she said Are you still going? I said, of course, I'm going. That I need to hear a story. You know, that what I heard you on TV, the print I read about you. I said, I think a story is worth listening to. Driving 4 or 5 hours just to see you and hear you.
I appreciate
talk to
that.
us. No, I think we appreciate you more for being on the show as well. So let's talk about champagne business. And champagne business, tell us about your brand of champagne. What's special about it? Can you break it down? You have the floor.
I mean, we think about champagne is the most labor-intense wine, and you have to follow a set rules and laws that govern champagne, which is actually overseen by the Champagne Committee based in France. For me, you know, I have a vineyard that I work with, and they're amazing to work with. You know, it's important to, when you're doing business, that you align yourself with great-minded people, right? That's case number one. So this is the block I grew up right here, Hancock and Stuyvesant.
Here, eh?
Hancock and Stuyvesant. This
My God.
across here, right here. So
just like yesterday, right?
No, it's not like yesterday. But going back to the product, it's just, you know, you put in work. You know, you figure out different avenues how to build this brand. How does it relate to consumers? I'm a big believer, if we sip it, let's learn about it. There's a lot of myths about champagne. People think that Prosecco is champagne. There's nothing wrong with Prosecco, but Prosecco is not champagne. Everything sparkling is not champagne, right? So I always like to point those things out, because sometimes, and even to this day, I went to a bar maybe a couple of weeks ago, and they had champagne by the glass. So I was like, oh, and they only had one champagne by the glass, which is fine. So I said, oh, I'll have a glass of champagne, right? And they also had a Prosecco on the menu. And he pulls out the bottle of Prosecco and he pours it. I said, no, I want a glass of champagne. He said, well, this is a champagne. I was like, no, that's Prosecco. It clarifies it on your menu, like, it's Prosecco. I want champagne. So people have to, you know, consumers just need to realize it. And then, you know, there's some very savvy consumers, which I love. And there's also people that want to learn more. And those are people I love as well, because I get to help you build your wine knowledge. And for those who are already savvy, I get to talk with you savviness about the wine champagne industry, and also learn from you. And then also they learn from me, because I feel, even though, you know, this is my company, SME, there's always something to learn.
What's your production level at? Your consumption level?
We're gonna make a light, a left at the red light.
Okay. In terms of consumption,
Well, it depends, right? I have the ability to scale larger. So for Rosé, Reserve, Blanc de Blanc, those are our house staples. So we produce higher.